Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Erica with Memory Box Candle Co. and I make videos all about making and selling candles. And it has been quite a minute since my last Make Candles With Me video. It has been quite a while, so I was really excited to make this video and get to chat with you guys for a little bit and show you all of the new things that I got for my candle making setup. So over the past couple of weeks, I have completely redone my candle studio. So behind me is actually a stainless steel table, and if you guys watched my new upgraded candle studio tour video, I showed everything that I got and how everything is set up. But this was actually the first time I had used my new wax melters. So you will see those in just a minute. Right now I'm just prepping my jars with alcohol. I do this every time before I am going to make candles, just to make sure that the wick stickers are going to actually stick to the bottom of the container, because if I don't do that, they lift up a lot easier. And this is the little device that the guy who has that Etsy shop who makes all of my custom wick holders, he actually made this specifically for me to double wick my Cali jars really quickly. It has been incredible, and it has made the process so much easier for me to actually get through wicking everything. So in terms of the wax melters that I got two different kinds. So I got the Digiboil that I had been hearing about for so long. I had heard that a lot of people use that for candle making. And then I also found a wax melter on Alibaba that I was able to get a sample for. And that one, they said it was 38 liters. It can hold 38 liters. And then the Digiboil was 35 liters. However, it seems like the Digiboil is a lot bigger and can hold a lot more. I haven't actually measured it out how much pounds or how much weight of wax can fit into it, because that just wasn't something that I was focused on. I was more focused on, I don't want to break this, I don't want to cause a power outage, and I don't want to burn my wax. So those were the main things that were going through my mind when it came to actually trying out these wax melters for the first time. And what I ended up having to do was I had purchased this surge protector. I found out that it was called a surge protector. I thought it was just an extension cord, but it is a surge protector. And I had purchased that for both my candle making station as well as my shipping station to plug in everything I needed to for my laptop, for my Dymo, for my lamp, that whole area over there. But I ended up having to take that surge protector and put it over in my candle making area, because I actually had tried to plug in all three of my wax melters into one surge protector, and it kept going out. So I don't know if that's what the surge is, or it just kept turning everything off because there was too much power going to one outlet, going to that one surge protector. So I ended up having to have the Digiboil have its own surge protector, and then I had the two other melters, so the off-brand melter and then also the Presto Pot that I use now for my beeswax. Those are having their own surge protector. So after I figured that all out, I was able to actually get started with heating everything up, and that took quite a while. So I really wanted to start with a smaller amount of wax just to see how it heated up, and I also wanted to see the temperature difference between what the machine was telling me and what I was actually reading to be the temperature of the wax. So it was all just basically an experiment to try to get used to it, to try to learn my wax melters and really see how they were going to perform. So what I had noticed was that the temperature that read on the Digiboil, it was actually hotter than what it was stating. So what I recommend to you guys, if you end up getting the Digiboil, make sure that you're setting it to a lower temperature than what you need. So if you want it at 185, set it to 170 and then check it. It is going to take probably about an hour to 2 hours to heat up, depending on how much wax you have in there. It took me quite a while, probably about an hour and a half to 2 hours to heat up everything. And I had it at a little bit past half full. So I had been waiting, I had waited probably about a half an hour in the beginning, and I had only flipped on one of the switches because there's a total of 3 switches. There's the on and off button, and then on the side there is a part where it says, as you can see a little bit right there on the left, there's the 2 switches right there. So one of them says 1,000 watts, the other says 500 watts. So in the beginning, I didn't flip either one of those until I had reached out to, or actually I made a post on my Instagram story asking people for some help with that. And they had suggested to flip on the 500 watt switch. I did have a couple of conflicting people saying to flip both for certain reasons, or flip the 1000, or don't touch both of them, only do 500. So I think it just depends on everybody's preferences. But I ended up just waiting the time that it needed to heat up, and I only did the 500 watt, and it was able to heat up just fine. I just needed to give it some time. And so what I'm doing right there was I poured in my beeswax first. So I do a blend of beeswax, I do soy 10, which is what is in the Digiboil, and then I have my tart wax, which is TW30 in the other melter. So this was really just using it for the first time, seeing how it came out. The Digiboil came out a little bit more kind of like the Presto pot comes out, just a little bit more splatty, I guess you could say. And this melter came out really, really nice. It definitely, took a little bit longer to come out, but it was nice because moving my candle making stuff out of the kitchen, I am a little bit more nervous about splats everywhere in my living room area. So I was very happy that this is not a very splatty device. It comes out really smooth and really calm. And again, this was all just kind of experimentation with the temperatures, how hot I needed to bring everything to. I actually had brought up the temperature a little bit too high for my beeswax, and I turned it down, and I was kind of having to adjust the temperatures on the other ones. This right here actually was a little bit too cool, so I had to actually pop it onto the double boiler to get it hot enough so that I would be able to pour in the fragrance oil and blend it so that it could actually bind with the wax. So typically the lowest that I want to bind the wax with would be, probably the absolute lowest would be 175 to 180, but I really like to get it at that 185 to 190. But again, as soon as you pour in that fragrance oil, it's going to immediately cool down. So that is definitely something you have to think about. It's kind of all... It really just kind of has to work hand in hand with what you are doing when it comes to actually the temperature. Temperature control is really a huge part of candle making, of figuring out, okay, so I need to bring my wax up to this amount, but as soon as I pour it into the pouring pitcher, it's going to drop in temperature. So I do try my best to heat it up with a heat gun prior to putting wax inside of it, but I do have to keep in mind that the temperature is going to drop significantly as soon as I put it into the pouring pitcher. So that was definitely something I was trying to keep in mind, alongside also trying to get the hang of these wax melters. And then also I had purchased this little wax melter sleeve thing for the Digiboil. It's actually made for brewing. So it has like this brewing logo, but I just turned it inside out and I put it facing onto it. And it's just to help the heat regulation and the heat control. And then right here, this is when I learned that I turned the temperature down too much for the beeswax, and the beeswax actually solidified on the spout right there, and it wasn't coming out because it had heated up quite a bit. And it was driving me crazy because I'm like, okay, I finally got a melter for it and it's not working. So I ended up having to just use a ladle and ladle it, but as soon as I heated it up, the beeswax melted. And that just really goes to show that beeswax has such a high melt point, and I really didn't realize that I needed to make sure that I kept it at a good high temperature, because if it starts to drop too low, it is going to solidify in the spout. But if you're using any other kind of wax like soy wax, coconut wax, anything like that, with a lower melt point, you probably won't have that issue with the Presto pot. But I really learned that the temperature control of the beeswax, I really got to be careful with it, because I can't bring it up too high, so I don't want it to scorch the wax, but I also don't want to keep it too low because then it's going to solidify too much and I'm not going to be able to use the pot. Also right here, I'm just showing you how it looks pouring it into it, and that is my makeshift station. I just took my trash can with a cutting board, and I really need to get some sort of stool because I need to make it as easy as possible to make my candles. That is my main goal, and my whole main focus with switching up my candle studio was that I wanted to make it as easy as possible and as enjoyable as possible to pour my candles. So that is another goal of mine, is to get a little stool or a slim table that I can put right there so that it is at a good height for me to be pouring my candles. And that is definitely my main goal, because as soon as I get into wholesale really soon, I'm going to start pumping out a lot more candles, and I really just need to get this quick process going. But overall, I'm really enjoying my wax melters so far. It just, again, I'm learning them. I'm understanding how the process goes with heating them up. And then while they're heating up, I can prep jars, I can do other things. And I'm so excited to have a Presto pot for my beeswax and not have to do the double boiler method. It has already made it so much faster and so much easier. But I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know it was a shorter make candles with me video, but I wanted to do kind of a little review on my candle making studio, the Digiboil, the other melter. And if you guys have any further questions, feel free to leave a comment in the comment section below. But make sure to go follow me on Instagram if you're not already, at Memory Box Candle Co. But I really hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your week, and I will see you guys next time. Bye, guys.